Welcome to New Possibilities. I speak truth to power without fear. So, like many others, I can't wait to see this film. And one thing that stands out about this new installment of Star Wars is the diversity. Other Star Wars films had diversity, but the black characters in those films did not play as important a role as the characters do in this recent installment. You have a leading African American actor in this new installment of Star Wars. You have an African woman who takes a leading role in this movie, and you have a white woman who's a leading character as well in this film. So there's great diversity in this film, and that's something that should be celebrated and recognized. And the director, when he started to cast for this film, he made a very important observation. And I just want to read you his quote. And his name is J.J. Abrams. He's the director of the new Star Wars film. And he said this. He said, "You look around that room and you see the whitest fucking room in the history of time. It's just unbelievably white. And I just thought, we're casting this show. We have an opportunity to do anything we want. Why not cast a show with actors of color?" So that was his quote. He was basically saying that you have a film that's coming out and all the people in the room are white. So he saw the need for diversity in this film, and I commend him for that. I commend him for pushing the envelope and including others besides just white men, because there's more to humanity besides just white people. But many people, unfortunately, took offense to his statement, and there has been a racist backlash to his statement, a racist and anti-Semitic backlash to his statement. People are equating diversity with white genocide. They see it as the end of the white man's world. This racism is all rooted in fear. They fear black people. They fear diversity. They fear genetic annihilation. And it is completely absurd that this kind of fear will be generated by a movie that has no impact on anyone's physical life, but yet these people are claiming that there is white genocide, there's an anti-white attitude, when the director of this movie is white. So I'm going to show you a few examples of the type of hatred that I'm talking about here. So I'm going to read this tweet. So online there's a tweet with the hashtag boycott Star Wars 7. That's all over Twitter, and this is a racist campaign against the Star Wars film. And I want to show you a couple of examples. This one says, boycott Star Wars 7. Don't confuse white children into believing that blacks will exist in the future. And it has a picture of the African American actor that I mentioned before. It depicts him as if he is an ape, a monkey, some kind of subhuman primate. And many of us know the history of this. They present this image to suggest that African Americans are not human beings, to suggest that we are animals outside of the human family. And then there's this other tweet. It says, boycott Star Wars 7 because it will be ghetto garbage. And then it has this picture of the same actor, and it says, where the white women be at? That's what this picture says, promoting that stereotype that black men are sex-crazed animals that lust after white women. That's a popular stereotype that has been with us since Reconstruction, and even before then, during slavery. This is the image that has been presented of black men. We are all familiar with Birth of a Nation. That image of black men chasing down stalking white women and raping white women. So this is the kind of attitude that these people have who are launching this racist campaign. I'm going to read a couple of other examples. Here's another one. It says, boycott Star Wars 7 because everyone knows Dendas don't have the brain power to use the Force. And then there's a photograph of the same actor. And it says, unlike Luke, he will not find his father. Playing into this stereotype that African American men are irresponsible and they don't take care of their children, don't take care of their responsibilities. So that's the type of racism that I'm talking about here. All of this hostility over a film just because it promotes some diversity in a world where there's a lack of diversity. In Hollywood, where there's a complete lack of adequate diversity. You have these maggots coming out of the woodwork to attack this film simply for promoting diversity. Here's another example. It says, boycott Star Wars because the Force correlates with IQ and the global average black IQ is 75. And then it includes this chart to suggest that black people are stupid, that we couldn't possibly use the Force because we don't have the mental capacity to do so. And then here's another one where it says Star Wars 7, boycott Star Wars 7 because J.J. Abrams is an anti-white sack of shit. Shit, basically. That's what he's saying in that tweet. And here's another example. Boycott Star Wars 7 because white children deserve wholesome movies, not more PC anti-white diversity crap. There's nothing anti-white about diversity. Diversity includes all people. These people are so used to living in a bubble that they can't accept that there are other people besides white people. So I'm going to read just a couple of more examples. Example right here. It says, boycott Star Wars is not about some stupid black actor. It is revealing the man behind the curtain. And then it has hashtag white genocide. And it features all these anti-Semitic photographs. See, the same people who are anti-Semitic, more likely than not, are the same people who hate black people. So African Americans need to be careful not to fall into the trap of anti-Semitism, not to jump on someone's bandwagon who hates us. And I could go into that much further, but I won't. But those are examples of the kind of hatred that has been generated because this film simply has diversity. This anger, this phony outrage is a manifestation of white privilege, a grotesque manifestation of white privilege. These people are so used to having all white everything that they can't possibly accept anything black. They can't wrap their minds around it. I was on Facebook and they showed an example of how you have black people being depicted as white in movies today. Like that movie Exodus. You had all these African kings, so-called Egyptian kings, Kemetic kings depicted as white people. These people are so used to being idolized, so used to being put on a pedestal that they can't possibly accept the notion that there are other people who deserve leading roles, who deserve recognition. These people are mentally sick. They are repulsive. And I hope that these people represent a minority within the white community. Here we are in this age of Obama, and we see that there hasn't been much progress in terms of the end of racism. We see all these examples of racism just bubbling up to the surface. These people can't contain themselves anymore. They have lost it. So I just want to briefly just talk about the importance of diversity before I close out. When you have more images of African Americans, of Latinos, of other so-called minorities, that helps to bridge a gap between people of different races. It helps breed understanding. If those images are positive, if those images stray away from negative stereotypes, if those images promote strong images of Black people, those images have the ability to possibly change the way people perceive African Americans. Those images have the potential to dispel false stereotypes about Black people. Just as people are programmed to hate, they can be programmed to respect. They can be programmed to be tolerant of others. So that's one reason why diversity is important. Also, diversity is important for the sake of the mental health of Black people. Yes, the mental health of Black people. Our Black minds have been poisoned by white heroes. Our Black minds have been poisoned by white heroes. As a kid growing up, the only heroes, for the most part, that I saw were white. When I opened a comic book, most of the significant heroes were white. When I turned on my television to watch TV, most of the heroes on television were white. We have all the examples of Batman, he's white. Superman, he's white. Spider-Man, he's white. All these other countless heroes in these comic books were white and are white. When the only image of strength, the only image of a hero is white, imagine the psychological damage that that does not only to Black boys, but to Black women, Black girls, when the hero is white. And then not only that, not only is the hero white, history is white, religion is white, fed a diet of white Jesus poison, and that poisons your mind. It makes you believe that white people are superior. So it's important that we see images that reflect us. It's important for us to see Black heroes doing great things. So for that reason, I commend the director of the new Star Wars movie for promoting diversity, for celebrating diversity, for recognizing the importance of diversity. But ultimately, African Americans need to take charge of our own imagery and our own minds by creating more of our own films, depicting us as heroes, depicting us as dignified people. We need something to counterbalance the negative image that has been put out here depicting African Americans as thugs, as strippers and prostitutes, as gangsters, as drug dealers. We need to counteract that negative image by putting out our films and putting out more positive music. So those are my thoughts. I welcome your feedback. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, please share it. Peace.